Sitting out here at the front of the Volkswagen, went ahead and set the front beam on that I had worked on this summer and assembled it and everything just to check clearances. Not ready to install it or anything like that, but we got the new tie rod ends in, the new steering box, and we wanted to make sure that the tie rods were going to clear every other piece we've done on the chassis. Unfortunately, it doesn't. So glad we did this now. So I'll flip you around. You can take a quick look at what we're up against and what the plan is to fix it. So probably everybody else would just scoot on by this and not put it in the video and be like, oh yeah, man, everything was perfect. I did it perfect. That's not how we do it here. So I'll show you exactly what happened and what we're gonna do to fix it. So you can see right here on the frame rail, one of the main struts of the frame rail, this right side tie rod, get the other hand here, when you turn, it's contacting this section of frame rail. So what we did is marked it out exactly from one full length stroke to the next, where it's impacting on that frame rail, and we're gonna go ahead and take care of that. The easiest way would have been to address that pre-building the chassis, but that was not something I was expecting. So what we're going to do is actually notch this beam out just about a ½ an inch down. We're going to weld in a 1/4 inch plate into the center of this chassis bar once we get the notch cut out, and that'll reinforce the strength that we took out of it. By cutting that pipe, it'll reinforce it and make it just as strong as it was before, if not a little stronger. So a few cuts, a few welds. Unfortunately, yeah, it all is painted, but that's why we do test fit and clearance check and everything. So I'm gonna get this prepped and we'll get it cut out and we'll come back to you in a bit. All right, so we marked it all. Basically, we're gonna cut down about a ½ an inch into this pipe. Right on these lines that I have separated by the tape to give me a good guideline. So we're going to cut down through each side, and then across each side we're going to pick that top half of that tube out. Once it's out, we'll go ahead and reassemble everything, clearance it again, make sure that everything looks like it's going to clearance fine, and we'll clean back off the paint that we put on here, strip it all down to metal again. Weld in the new piece that we're going to fabricate here in a minute, and once we get that tacked in, again we'll reassemble everything, check for clearances. Everything looks good at that point, we'll take it apart, weld it in, finish it, get it all sanded, get it all painted again, and then we'll get this stuff back together, and hopefully a couple hours you won't even know we had an issue. So here we go. Well, there we go. I'll kind of move you around a little bit. Looks like you might not be able to see it. So you can see we got that first notch cut out. It will get a bracket welded here, and then across the bottom we're going to fill the center with another piece. But let's take a quick look and see if our clearance made a difference. And actually that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to trim it back here just another 1/4 of an inch or so to make sure we have plenty of room. A lot of this clearance issue will go away once we put weight on the car. The shock absorbers will compress a little bit. The steering beams will compress. And it's actually going to lift these tie rods up off of this frame rail. So I don't want to have a huge gap. We're looking at about a 1/4 inch is what we're going to end up with underneath there. And it should give me plenty of coverage and plenty of room once we get it all settled and together for that clearance. So I'm going to go make those pieces and I'll bring you back when we're ready to weld them on. Where do we go from here? Catastrophe has struck. So while I was trying to clearance out those tie rods, I quickly came to realize that there was not enough room to put the clearance in there I needed and still maintain the structural integrity of the chassis. Ended up having to cut the entire top struts off. We're going to be doing a little refiguring, get the geometry reset, and figure out how we're going to weld in a new front upper beam supports to overcome this problem. It's going to take me a couple of days, so guess we're done. I was going to give up after my last video and just walk away for a couple of days, but I've come so far along on this, I really didn't want to let it go. So I kept clearancing and moving things around, and I think I got something that'll work. We ended up, like I said, it cut the front top supports off. I got the new ones bent up in place. So we got a couple of brackets to weld in, and I'll show you real quick what we did here. So there you go. You can see the new supports. We had to cut them off, bend sweeps. They're tacked into place right now, and then they'll get 2 braces underneath right at the pivot point to shore them up, but I haven't cut those yet. But put the new tie rods in there, and when we turn that thing has a ton of clearance. I'm not really worried about the structural support of it. We'll have enough braces and brackets in there. There won't be an issue. So we overcame that. I'm just gonna buckle down here for the rest of the day and get this gusseted up and welded up and get it ready for paint. We'll come back when we're at that point, or completed, or somewhere close. So there it is right there. What we ended up doing was cutting the frame rail right here, and then we took off the front piece. We ended up did some 90 bends with the tubing bender. Got 2 of those bent in. We did bottom support braces underneath, got them cut and cleaned up and welded in, and now we have full motion side to side. No more clearance issues. Did test everything else while we were doing it, and the one thing I found was when I did that, it actually kind of screwed up where the front brake hose on the passenger side where the bracket sits. So I had to cut that off, slide it down 2 inches, weld it back in, not a big deal. So today what I'm gonna do is go ahead, I'm gonna turn you guys off for a bit, I'm gonna clean this all up, scuff it all up, I'm gonna get it painted. I moved around to the front of the chassis. I went ahead and installed the front disc brakes, packed the bearings, everything you guys saw when we did the back, we did the same thing to the front. Made sure they're real greased, got them torqued on there. I'm gonna install the new studs that we have for these pre-drilled brake rotors, and we're going to put the mag wheels on because I'm having a hard time getting this thing able to move around here in the shop. It's getting so much weight on it, I can't keep lifting it up and jacking it every time, so we're going to get these wheels put on. Well, I'll tell you in advance, we're going to go ahead and put the studs in, but they're going to come back out at a later date because they need to be thread locked and torqued. But for now, for my purposes to getting things moved around, we're just going to thread them in here, give them a quick torque, and put the wheels on. So you can see this caliper, or this rotor that I purchased was pre-drilled for a couple of different wheel sizes. So we're using the 4 3/4 by 5 holes. That'll be these holes here. It'll be every other one. Studs are, you know, obviously made to fit. Just thread them right in there. And the wheels actually look really nice on them. I took a quick look. I don't have center caps yet, so we'll be getting center caps, but put these on here real quick. We'll tighten them down, and we'll put one of the wheels on, and I'm gonna go around and do this to all 4 sides. Get the jack out. We're gonna get it off the jack, get it off the stands and on the floor. So move you back here a little bit, maybe get a better view of what we're doing. Oh yeah. Now, okay. So the lug nuts for mag wheels are a little different than what you have in your standard car. Your standard car has a 60-degree angle, where these are a flat nut. They're a threaded insert with a flat tip, and they get a washer on them, which obviously today's cars don't have. So that's what we've got here. So it looks a little different than what you're used to seeing. That's why. There we go. A little easier when you can see what's going on here. There we go. Realized that was painful, but I think they look pretty good. So I do have a center cap. Well, I don't have them yet, but there will be a center cap to go in there. I'm trying to find the right company to order them from to get the correct size. But I went with the old school mag look. I kind of like it. The tires we put on are just throwaways, just until we get the new ones, but there you go. So 3 more tires to go and I'm all set. Pretty much finishing up for today, but I'll give you guys a bird's eye view of how it turned out. We got the front end assembly is all together. Tie rods are in, floor pans in, wheels are on. You know, it's actually starting to look like something. So hopefully we can get to the back. I gotta do some cleaning in the shop before we can get back there, and we'll get the rear wheels on. And good stuff coming up.